years. Ministered to him on rubbish dumps in Papua New Guinea. Perhaps arguably he's got one of the greatest stories, incredible stories that you have. He's got an incredible testimony, so I'm not going to take too much away from Lee Boy, except now to invite you, Lee Boy, to come and share with the church. Thank you, Lee Boy.
Mic check. Thank you. Happy Sabbath, everyone. We'll just go straight into our story and we'll continue. And by the way, thank you very much for the opportunity to come and stand with you guys and spend a Sabbath hour with you and also for the lunch. And now we'll continue into our program. It is once again a pleasure for me to just stand before you guys. And I'm so blessed to have that opportunity. And I believe as we continue, may the story, the testimony today will also help us to just at least come one more step closer to God as we continue to listen to the stories. Right over there is the photo, me and with Dennis Perry and with the, I guess, Rosemary. And at the 3ABN, we were just there for the I said my testimony online, with them. So, and the topic for today that I'll share with you guys in the afternoon is your mess can be your message. Before we continue, let's pray and then we'll continue. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you very much for this opportunity, Father. And would like to pray and ask that, Lord, may your Holy Spirit help us. In Jesus' name, Father, we pray. Amen. And it's based in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. I guess in 2018, when I followed Dennis and them into the prison, and one of the prisoners was just walking past by, and then he saw me and he said, hey, like Dennis was just mentioning something about me, and then he said, hey, you need to go back and read this text. And he said, go and read 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. It's your text. And I was like, okay, I'll go and see. So, and then, like, after, in the afternoon, so I just went back, and then I opened the Bible, and then I started to read the text. And it reads, he raised up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill. And then the other translation that I read was, the dunghill was the garbage dump. And then it reads, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the head are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. Well, for you guys, maybe you can read and interpret the text, like he raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the garbage pile or garbage dump or dunghill and all these ones. And then you can put your garbage pile like maybe the worst situation in your life or something like. For me, it's just, I don't need to interpret the text. It's just, period. It's just everything I need to know. And it just tells the full story that it's just a summary of what I'm going to share with us. And back then, that's me over there. In the middle of the garbage dump, that's me. And that's some of the boys where we were together. And right over there is, after the graduation from Pacific Adventist University, I went back to the garbage dump, the garbage pile. And then that's some of my friends over there. That's the one, that's the person, and then this one over there. So that's some of the friends at the garbage pile where we were together. So these are the children at the garbage pile. I told them, look, I might have an opportunity to speak with the white people. And you know white people, I said. So I said, if I go and speak with them, what do you guys, they said, oh, we will send our happy Sabbath. So that's what they were saying.
Happy Sabbath, white church member, my perspective, one bicycle of Barunidam.
So they were saying, happy Sabbath to those white people. They said, we are just fixing our bicycle at the garbage dump. So those bicycles, they don't have a tube. It's just, we just put those baby, kind of a rubber stuff inside. So it's just pure. It doesn't need to be flat. It's just, all over it's just purely rubber. It's just thick rubber. Because at the garbage dump, you don't need a tube because it will always be flat. Whatever you do, it will always be flat because it's garbage pile, and then you have all those nails and bottles and everything all over the places. So you will still run on top of the bottle. So what we did is we just fill all this, inside the tire we just fill it with all the plastics and everything, and so it's just pure. It doesn't need to be fixed again. It's there and it's finished, period. And all these bicycles, we just took them from the garbage pile. We haven't, like, we don't usually buy any parts or anything. It's just, people, like, this year I was here, and then I saw a lot of, things just right beside the road. People don't need them, and they were just putting it outside of their house for someone to pick it up. And I was like, oh, no, this couldn't be true. And I took some of the photos, and I sent it down to my friends through the, WhatsApp or the Facebook and all these ones. And I told them, look, these are free. And then they said, no, you're joking. I said, hey, it's free, I told them. They said, don't make fun. I said, look, it's free. I'm telling you the truth. They said, no, this can't be true. I wanted, even how hard I tried to convince them that these are free. People will just leave it out outside their house. You can come and grab it. And they said, no, you are joking. It won't be. And I said, look, I just waste my time just trying to explain things to you. It's never mind. You won't even understand it, I said. But, well, that's some of the things that we just took it from the garbage dump. And I'll just share my brief background with us. And that's me over there. That's my mother. My father passed away in 2016 after I graduated from the college, and he was run over by a pedestrian crossing, like a vehicle just ran over him, hit and run. And we couldn't even find the perpetrator, so he escaped. And then this is the house that we lived in. Most of the materials we just get them from the garbage dump, and then some of them were from we purchased them, but mostly most of this, like, we got those fridge and, I would say, fridge and then 44-gallon drum and anything that we can find at the garbage dump. So when we have those fridge, we have to break those fridge apart, and then those the cover, like the fridge that sort of a high-end that covers the fridge. We just flatten them out, and then we just put it over there. So that's what we do. So you just try as much as possible to get as much as you can. So that's what you can do. Oh, I think I pressed the wrong, yep. From the garbage dump, while we were inside, I decided we have some of the Adventists usually come and visited us. Like while we were at the garbage dump, we usually saw Dennis and them. The Operation Food for Life, they always come and feed us at the garbage dump. But then, back then, I didn't know that they were Adventist. And I wasn't even an Adventist also. And we usually have some of the Seventh-day Adventist elders in one of the churches in Port Moresby. They always come and visited us every Sabbath morning, and then share Bible text with us every morning. So that's some of the students at the garbage dump where we usually worship together. So what happened was that every day, every now and then after they come and visited us, they always share with us the Adventist message, and then feed us every morning during the morning hours between 6 to 8 a.m. So that's what all these Adventist elders usually do. And that's one of the texts that inspire me is Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou comest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. I usually lived in the dump and then see those, we usually have those food at the garbage dump where sort of, most of the foods were just coming from different vehicles, the trucks that bring the food into the garbage dump. And sometimes we saw those, the planes traveling over our head. And I, like, always just looked up to the plane and said, oh, one day I'll travel on the plane. And how is it possible for you to travel on the plane? I mean, none of us have been traveling on the plane. And we'll be just like looking at the plane and said, oh, yeah, it's impossible. I mean, how could you just travel on the plane when no one have been traveling on the plane? Everybody just lived at the garbage site. So it's just impossible for us. So we usually get those food from the garbage dump. There are two important vehicles at that garbage site. By the way, these are some of the elders, and then that's me right in front while I was doing my primary education, and that's one of my sister, and this one over there also, but she already got married with 3 children, and this one is already in university, and that's me right in front. And that's some of the children over there. Unfortunately, the picture is not that really clear. And that's my journey to the Adventist church, where we were at the garbage dump when they usually come and visited us. And like I said, that's me at the garbage dump. And you look at the back, most of the things at the garbage dump, we usually recycle them. We just do recycling. We recycle everything you can name it. From the simple things such as the plastic, like a rice plastic or something like that, even the peanut butter tin, and everything you can name it. We just recycle them from the garbage pile. And you looked at the back over here, it's like that's the peanut butter thing and all this one, and then the canteen, and then you have the plastic bottles, and all these houses over there are camps. Different families have their camps, respective camps. You are not even allowed to go to their camp. So most of the things that they got it from the garbage pile or the dump, you have to put it inside your own tent, your area. And then sometimes they sort of move it into their house or move it to their house. And then sometimes it's just there. And then this one is more, I would say it's sort of a mobile house. And it's best because most of the time, as the young people, we involve in people who go to, who are in Port Moresby in the nation's capital, they know what Barony dump is. Because most of the criminal activities at the dump is just occurring at the garbage dump in Port Moresby City. Because we are the ones who is responsible for stealing all those motor vehicle and do all those bad stuff. So this house, the makeshift house, is much more better than trying to build a permanent house, because sometimes when the boys we involve in some of the criminal activities, what the police did is they'll always come at the garbage dump and then destroy everything, burn down the houses. And then people over there usually looked after, like, pigs are one of the commodity over there. So they like looking after pigs. So they just sort of destroy the pigs and anything you can name it at the dump. But if you have this type of house, it's okay. I would say it's just best. Because the police won't do anything. They just kick 4 drums and then there you go, you are still safe. But if you build something like permanent, and when I say permanent, it's just not as what you think. It's just simple, maybe something like this house over there. And that's my mother over there with myself and Dennis. And that's what they usually do, Dennis and his team. We were at the garbage dump when they usually come and feed us with the food. Sometimes my father, my mother, myself, we stand on a long queue. And then we sort of, wait for the food. And then I saw those white people over there, Dennis and his team, standing and giving us parcel of food. And I was like, oh. And then they always tell us that, okay, stand with your family, be in a group. Sometimes they tell us, be in a family. Look, they are white people. They don't understand my language. So my father always said, hey, don't come and stand with me or I'll break your face. You go and stand separately so we get as much as food as we can. They won't even understand my language. So my father always said, hey, you come and stand with me, I'll kill you. Go and stand on another line. So I just pretend like I don't even know my father. So I just stand on my own, my mother stand on her own, and then we just stand on a line. And then we just went and then collect our parcel food without them knowing that we are the same family. No. We want to get as much as food as we can. So that's what we do. because they don't understand us. And I usually saw them giving us those wheat bix and so good milk. And it's the worst food in my life I ever eaten. To be frank, I just really don't like wheat bix. It's just, speaking, like, looking at the point of view where I come from, like, putting the wheat bix or the cornflakes and then pouring milk, and it looks something like, so disgusting. It's just like, I don't even like those food. So, but because we saw those white people watching us and then giving us this food, we said, hey, white people are watching, so we just, we swallow it, but like, it's just, you don't have to hit it. Just swallow it so you can't feel that yucky sort of feeling. But sometimes when they don't see us and they just give us that 1 liter milk, and then they give us the Weet-Bix and said, okay, 4 people in one plate and all these ones, it's better. Because we just eat the Weet-Bix like biscuit and then drink the milk. And it's just, perfect. That's enough. But talking about pouring the milk into the Weet-Bix is just the worst thing we could ever experience. Oh, of course. So, and then sometimes they gave us like rice, but it's brown rice. And then they give us, back then I didn't know that brown rice is the best. It's sort of healthy. But because in New Guinea, brown rice is what the prisoners usually eat. So we thought that, okay, are you guys treating us like prisoners? But we didn't know that it was the best rice. How could I know? We thought because prisoners always eat brown rice. So we thought, these people are giving us food that belongs to the prisoners. And then when I joined the church, and then I realized that, they were just giving us the expensive food, and we thought that they were giving us the worst. And that's as you can see over here, that's the house. Different family have that campsite over here. So it's separate. So they have to bring all their food from the garbage pile and then put it in your respective sort of tent or something. Let's put it like tent or makeshift house. And so that's this one over here, as you can see. That's a lady over there with a child. A baby girl, she was probably, I would say, about 6 or 7 months. And then another 2-year-old baby again, a child. And then this one is another one again. And then the dogs, and then this is the garbage pile over here. In the past, it usually, like, we have sort of 4 big holes, totally big holes. And then when we want to collect the garbage, we usually run into the garbage pile. And then we collect the garbage because the vehicles usually, come and then go into the garbage pile. It's just like this, going down the mountain. But over the years, now it becomes a mountain, all of them. And it's just growing high because of the accumulation of the garbage like over the years. So it's just becoming like mountain. But in the past, we always run into the garbage. It's just a big hole. And then we collect the garbage. And these are some of the stuff that we do recycling. Like you have the containers over here, the tin cans and all these ones just laying along the road. Even right until now, if you just travel across, you will see those still remaining. I guess last time, Dennis and them, they just couple of months or weeks ago, they went to New Guinea. This is just a video of what usually happens, the real stuff. I would say 110%, that's the correct one. That vehicle that pours the rubbish, we call it hot rice. Later I'll tell you the story. I extract that video from a movie. So what happened at the garbage dump is you saw those big truck. The boys, every day, we usually go and stand beside the road. And at the garbage dump, the boys who open that vehicle and work on the vehicle, like collecting garbage around the city, you are highly regarded at the garbage dump. We respect those boys. They are the most respected boys at the garbage dump. So if you are one of those people who worked at the garbage truck, you are highly prized. Maybe I would say among the girls. Sort of if you're a young man working on that one, the best girls at the garbage dump, they will chase after you. The best that the garbage dump have is for you, that young fellow. So if you have an opportunity to work on the garbage truck, all the girls will just chase after you. Because you get all the best garbage before the best things on the truck, you take them, and then everyone will run after the vehicle later on. But you get the best prize. I would say the first 10 and the second and the third, they'll get it. So we sort of respect those people working on the garbage truck. And then to make it extreme, we usually, like every 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning, we always go and stand on the road and then beg the drivers of those vehicles to please just sort of help us to open the vehicle and help them to collect the garbage without being paid. Even if they pay us or not, it doesn't matter, as long as we are on the vehicle. And we sort of gain respect from the people, the peers at the garbage dump, if you have that opportunity to work on the vehicle, because you will be traveling around the city, free on the vehicle. Sometimes we even go to the extreme that we pay the drivers to hire us. Instead of us collecting the garbage, they should help us and pay us. We pay them and said, please help me to just open the vehicle and collect garbage with you. And one of the things that makes us sort of distinguish ourselves among other kind of a social group in Port Moresby was we usually don't like wash, bath every day, sort of. It's better for us to be looking a little bit dirty and all these ones. Like when we go into the shops, they know, these are they call us, they call those people over there the Goilala. So when we go into a shop and then we want to do shopping, people they just let you sort of get passed by quickly. They said, these are the aggressive people, so just don't, just let them just spend a lot of time on the till. Just let them get their food and then go. Or if we walk to any area and then a lot of us look a little bit scuffy and dirty, so we just sort of, it kind of, I would say, our pride or something. People sort of respect you of your bad behavior, not because of your good behavior. And that's the boys over there that worked on the garbage truck. So what happened is that sometimes we usually wait on the side of the road, and then you look, because the two most important vehicles at the garbage dump is, we call them the PX and the Arnott's. Do you guys have an Arnott's company over here? Arnott's, the Arnott's Biscuit Company, it's highly priced at the garbage dump. Because they have sort of, joint venture with one of the company over there, Paradise Foods. And then they produces those biscuits that you guys have over here in New Guinea. But what happened is that some of the biscuits that are not I would say it's just some kind of mistake or something with the machine, and then they always bring those, maybe broken and all these ones. They always bring all those biscuits to the garbage dump. And I tell you, even if I am at the garbage dump and if I cannot even see the vehicle, but if I listen to the sound of the engine, I can tell the driver, who is the driver, the offside, the people who is on the offside, even just by listening to the engine, we can just tell everything about the vehicle. And most of the vehicles, we know exactly the time that they will arrive at the garbage truck. We know every truck at the garbage dump, what type of food is inside that particular truck. Take, for example, if I want to take my shampoo or soap or maybe a tobacco or something, we go for the vehicles that come early morning. Because they bring all the garbage from the hotel and restaurant and the hotels. So those small shampoo and all this one, we just got it from them. If you want some garden food and all this one, we early in the morning also, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Because the big trucks go around the markets in Port Moresby to collect all those garden food and all this one, the garbage that is left over. If we need protein, like maybe chicken and beef and all this stuff. We just wait around 8 a.m. in the morning. Because one of the truck always, it's working with the sort of a meat factory and all this one. They always bring all the meat and freezer meat and everything to the garbage dump. So, sort of pieces of them. So different vehicle have different food that we need and even anything that we need. So why do you want to get out of the garbage dump when everything you need is just right in the garbage dump? I mean, it doesn't make sense going out because we can even get our clothes from the garbage pile. Even the bread in the morning, everything is from the garbage. So people kind of feel comfortable being in that area. You don't want to just look somewhere else for safety. Just everything is over there at the garbage. And usually every 12 p.m., we have those PX, which is, it always brings all the garbage from the plane. You have the Qantas and Virgin Air, and, well, back then, it was in 2015, and 2013, I wanted to travel to, the college. I didn't know that on the plane, it's just, I'll be traveling like approximately 45 minutes. But it was my first time to travel on the plane. So I didn't know, because at the garbage dump, every 12 p.m., we usually wait and then looked at the time. Because we don't have time, we just write 12 on the ground, 3, 6, and then 9. And then you have to point your hand towards the Sado. And then you see your Sado falls on 12, it means lands. And lands, it means that the vehicle that bring all the food from the Qantas and Virgin Air will bring all the food, the leftover foods. So we just wait over there, put all the 4 44-gallon drum, like big ones like this drum, along the road. And then we just wait at the back of the road because we know that by 12, the vehicle will be here. And exactly every 12 p.m. So we usually stop that vehicle, open to the vehicle, get as much as food as we can, and then while we collect the food, the vehicle will still travel to the garbage area. And all the parents will wait because everyone at the garbage dump, they looked for that vehicle every day. They must get something from the vehicle. Because anything that you get from that vehicle is straight into your mouth. You just eat. Because we know that it's a fresh daily food. Also the Arnott's biscuit. I remember, I guess in 2018, I got 50 kg Tiny Teddy biscuit. 50 kg, just pure biscuit. My family, we hate like 50 kg like biscuit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just pure biscuit. Biscuit only. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just biscuit. The last time I was at Pacific Adventist University, my mother got 40 kg chocolate. Pure. 40 kg pure chocolate. The children, they went to school and then they eat chocolate during the morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Pure chocolate. Just chocolate only. It's just, just so much. So, well, it was my first time to travel on the plane, so I wanted to travel on the plane, and then I hopped onto the, like I said, I won't eat during the day. I won't eat even during, and then the people were saying, hey, you should eat something. I said, no, I'll be on the plane. I paid big money, almost $400 for a plane ticket, so I'll eat a lot of food. I didn't know that, you only eat one meal. By the way, to cut the story short, I was inside the plane, and then I was just waiting, and the air hostess was just walking by and, excuse me, said, do you want to drink, do you want the water or juice? And I was looking at that apple juice, which is that 1 liter haze juice container. I said, I want juice, because I thought she'll give me, because at the garbage dump, I usually get 1 liter juice. And then she kind of poured the juice into a cup and then gave it to me with that small Scotch finger biscuit. And I was like, oh no, this couldn't be true. I just didn't eat anything whole day, and then now in the morning I didn't eat, and then now during the lunch, and you want to just give me that small, I should have that 1 liter juice. I wanted to complain instantly, but then I realized, no, relax. It's just, it was my first time, so I was just poking myself like, am I really in the plane? I couldn't even believe that I'm in the plane, actually in the plane. And like when I traveled towards the airport, we stopped 2 dump truck, like a big truck. All the people at the Baruni, they just opened to the vehicle and then bring me to the airport. The airport was just full of children. They just covered the entire airport just to go and drop me. And then they cried and all this one. And I was even sitting in the plane and I started to poke myself and said, am I really in the plane or am I joking? Or, and then all of a sudden she came up with that food and I was like, and then a thought came into my mind, don't judge quickly, relax. It's just breakfast. You'll be okay. I didn't know, it's 45 minutes, but I thought, no, it's just breakfast. Relax. You'll have lunch when you are on the air and then dinner when you go down, so don't worry. I just slept about 2 minutes or so and then I woke up and then I had like the plane was like, okay, thank you, fasten up your seatbelt, don't walk around, we'll be just landing. And then I started to ask someone just beside me, excuse me, did you have your lunch and your dinner? And they were like, where did you get that lunch and dinner from? No, I was sleeping and I didn't eat anything, so I was just asking, lunch and dinner. And they said, what type of lunch and dinner? And I said, no, Cadbury chocolate and all those butter and sort of, bun. And they said, boy, where did you get those food from? Who told you we usually eat those food? I said, hey, at the garbage dump, I usually eat those jam and butter and all this stuff. They said, you are eating international food while we are eating domestic food, they said. I said, oh, all these years I've been eating all the food from the international plane and all this one. I didn't realize it. So that's some of the things that happen at the garbage dump. It's the most important part is those two vehicles. Whenever you hear that there's that, when it's 12 p.m., the entire people at the garbage dump will just rush. So the boys, what we do is you just get as much as food as you can. While the vehicle run, you have to jump. And if it's your first time, if you jump on the vehicle, maybe if some of you might even want to practice, don't jump and stand because you will break your bone. You see those movies like the people with a parachute, they usually run on the ground. That's the best way to do. Back then, I didn't know. My first time I jumped and I tried to stand and then I just rolled and just destroyed my face and my body. So what we usually do is you just get as much as food as you can, jump on the vehicle while it's running and then you run. Because our parents at the garbage dump and this man over here is the one with the big rubber hose. And inside that rubber hose is, those ones with the service station? They have those sort of iron inside and then the thick rubber. They just belt anyone who is on the truck, the young people, because we always get the best food before it reaches everyone at the garbage dump. So they stopped us every now and then in front and then they just belt up. They said, don't get the food when you need to allow everyone to have their share. But us, the young people, we want to be like, no, we need to get the best. So what we do, we always finish the food before it reaches those people. And these are the ones that you will see them right in front with this aggressive face. That face tells you that you will die if you finish the food early. And these are the natural law at the garbage dump. Everyone who is born into the garbage dump, you know the natural law. And the natural law is that know where you should collect your rubbish or your garbage. There are certain trucks at the garbage dump, they don't need to label themselves. You have to know which one belongs to the ladies. So some trucks, I know some of the pictures might not be good for you guys. Some of the garbage truck belongs to the ladies only, and the ladies only supposed to collect those garbage. Men, you are not allowed. And if they see a woman, like men, chasing after the truck, all the ladies will just leave the food and then they'll just watch you. And you'll be like the only one who is looking after the food. And then if you turn around, everyone will be just, and you'll be like, what happened? They know that you are a newcomer. You don't know the law. Because particular foods and particular vehicles have their own, I don't know, maybe I'll call them customer or something. So this garbage belongs to the ladies only, and they are the ones, that particular truck, that belongs to the ladies only. Men, they are not allowed to go and check the garbage over there. It's not for the men. I guess 2018, I was here in Australia and I saw that Australia garbage truck traveling on the road and then stop and then have those long and sort of picking up those garbage. And I was like, then I was talking to Dennis. Do you have people working at they said, no, it's just like this, and then they put and I was like, so is there some, in Australia, do you have sort of a group of people living at the garbage dump to collect those garbage? And he said, what do you mean collect the garbage? I said, like Barony in Port Moresby, And he was like, oh no, it's only the machine works over there. And I was like, oh, you guys have missed a fortune. We could make a fortune out of this. Oh. This particular garbage belongs to the men only. It's just a natural law. Men are only supposed to check a particular truck and certain activities that belongs to the men. They don't need to tell you which one belongs to the man or the woman. And that's where you see the fathers working over there. I remember there's I guess in 2015, we have one of the 240, I guess, what do they call them? 40-foot container? 240-foot container, just big containers full of egg carton, egg boxes, dozen of eggs. What they did was that all those eggs were just sort of blocked, and then they have the yolk only. The yellow part, what do we call them, yolk? The yolk only. And the white stuff was just like already just iced up. So what the government do is that they just dug a big hole, and then they throw all those egg boxes inside. And we were like, okay. Sorry, I'll just see the time. Okay, 11 minutes. What we usually do, and then like they were telling us, no one's supposed to go into that garbage and then collect anything. No one. If anyone jump in, we'll shoot you with a gun. Because this egg is just totally destroyed. And it was like 240-foot container. Just purely just full of eggs. 2 or 3. And then they dug totally a big hole, and then they poured all the egg box, and then they pour sort of petrol or something, yeah. And then they just burned the container. I mean, burned all the boxes. And then they just drove back. But while the police were there, our leaders were just holding the laudela, and they said, hey, if you jump into that hole, you'll be in trouble. Don't jump into that hole, because those eggs are destroyed already. Because the police were watching. And then the police started to drive, like they just drive back. The person who is holding the container, the loud hailer, our leader, he was the first one to throw the hailer off. All of us just jump into the fire. I was so fortunate that I got 4 boxes of egg, totally big boxes. We fried all those eggs over here with those big pot. The entire community, they eat eggs, and the eggs were there. People couldn't eat anymore. They were just tired of eating eggs. We couldn't even use those sort of 7-spoon and all this one. We use a spade to do those scrambled eggs. And then these are the containers over there. We use sort of, I would say, 8 or 16 liters of oil to fry everything. And then we feed the entire community with these ones. You see, sometimes one of the lessons that I have learned is that one man's stressor is another man's stressor. The people, they throw all their trash to the garbage dump. For us at the garbage dump, their trash is our treasure. We just enjoy everything that they just drop at the garbage pile. They didn't know that. And just back to my personal struggles and challenges before we finish. This is me over there with my mother. And it's sort of a little bit painful. And after, like, every time when I went to, like, I usually go to the school and then come back. After I come back to the house, I have to help my mother carry all those sweet potatoes and greens and all these ones to the market. And it's a little bit painful because I have to walk like this to the market with my mother. And then we sort of live in an area where it's sort of a, I would say, quota settlement or something. And then we usually walked across another area where it's kind of a residential area like this, in order for us to go to that residential area and sell our food. And when I walk down, sort of my classmates and class girls, they have their houses on that residential houses and all this one. And they always said, oh, Liboy, how much for the food? How much for the greens? And I was like, oh, I wanted to pretend like I'm not with my mother. Because, we kind of look a little bit rough and scuffy, and sometimes those greens at the back, we actually wash them, so they kind of have water dripping at the back. And if the water drops, it kind of makes my trousers a little bit wet, and it looks like you pee on your trousers or something like that. And I just feel like, oh, God, no, not me. And then just imagine like a young man like me in high school, and then I have to carry all those, stuff like this. And then you just walk down, and then some of the young boys and girls watching, your classmate, and then they wanted to purchase those food from you. And how much do I have to sell those sweet potato? I would say it's like 3 cents. 3 cents for 6 or 7 sweet potato. And for a greens, I would say 2. 2 cents is the most expensive that I could go for back then. That's the most expensive greens that you could purchase. Sometimes it's like if you want to buy the cheapest one would be like 1. 1 cent is the cheapest greens that you could purchase. So that's my mother carrying all those greens over there. And then I have to go and then sell them like, in order for me to go to the market, I have to walk like almost 3 kilometers with this one at my back with my mother. Sometimes I don't like to walk across the main road to go down to the residential area because it's just, I always feel ashamed. I'll have to walk across my classmates and class girls shouting and say, oh, Libo, how much for the greens? How much for this one and that one? And I just like to just walk across the long road, which is just going around and then go back to the market. But it takes a sort of 6 kilometers, which is longer than, so I just have to sacrifice and then walk across my class boys and class girls. But it's, if think about young men like me walking across your peers and then they live in those fancy houses and you just have to walk across for them to say, how much for the greens? And here you say, oh, it's just 1 cent. It's just painful. That's me sitting over there in the market and then with the greens. And the school uniform. Because straight after school, I have to go and help my mother out. Even if it's rain, you have to sit down. How much does it cost for like all day earning for my mother? If she is lucky, very lucky, she could earn like $20 for a day. If she is so fortunate. And that $20 is for, to feed our entire family and then pay for my lunch money and all this one. That's if she is very lucky. But otherwise, the best she could get is like, rather if she is lucky would be $25 or $30. But then average would be around $10 or $15, $20. Around $10 to $15 every day, an average money she would make. In PNG Kina would be 50 Kina. For every day, just wait all day to go and sell these greens to just make $15 a day. That's my father over there. He's a fisherman. So I always followed him to the swamps to catch fish. And then at the swamp, it's just a little bit painful because after we catch all the fish, the smell of the fish will be on your body because you have to swim in this river, sort of. And then you don't have anywhere to wash before you travel out. And then with that smell, you have to go on to the bus again, catch bus, like walk another 2 kilometers to the bus station, catch the bus, go back to our house, and then we have to walk another 1 or 2 kilometers back to the house. We have to take out all the scale and then fry them again and then get those fish again. I have to, all those fish like this, and then walk across the street and said, fish, 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 and then sell the fish along the streets. And it's just like, sometimes I just sort of wish that I just born in a family where I should just sit on the couch and just press, Back then it's just expensive having a TV in your house. So I just wish that you could just press one button and then the TV will be on and having those popcorn and then just eat the popcorn or something, watch TV. It's just a dream for everyone. So we just dream, one day it won't even happen, That's what we usually think of. And that's one of the lessons that I learned in life. Those who choose to earn food than to beg for it are the real life heroes. And me and my father always have this firewood over here and walk along the streets in the nation's, in our suburb. And then we usually say fire, 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 fire. Starting 3-4 kilometers, you walk along the streets, you have to say fire, 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 all the way. And I know exactly where my class boys and class girls are. I just push this one, That's over there. And then these are the houses. And then when I walk across the house, I don't even shout. I just silently, I just walk past by. And then I walked on the other side, and then I said fire, and then I continue. Because I don't want my classboys and class girls to see me pushing all those stuff over here and say fire, fire on the road. Because a bundle of firewood, like on average, I would have like bring sort of 4 or 5. That's enough. For one, it would cost $1. So for $5, I have to walk across the entire street and say fire, 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 fire for the whole day until if they purchase it. And if they don't purchase it, I have to push it like for 4 kilometers down and then wait until evening if they will purchase it or not. And if not, I have to push it another 4 kilometers back to the house. It's just too much. And then to get those firewood, it's another story. You have to walk some kilometers and then to break the firewood and then bring those firewood back to the house, and then from house you have to bring it down to the market again. And that's another story. Well, we should be finished, I guess, a couple of minutes. I remember I failed my grade 10 examination, and my mother we were at the garbage dump, and she sold one of her pigs, and she gave me, I would say, in Australian dollar would be $250. And then she said, look for your own school fee, make your own way. So I get all that money. It was a Christmas, 2019, December. I don't know what you guys were doing at that period of time. I get all those money, and then I went and buy those party poppers and those birthday candles. I didn't know back then that those birthday candles, these are just birthday candles. Because I saw on the plastics with those pictures over there, I thought it was fireworks. Because we don't know what fireworks looks like. In 2009, no one knows it. So I said, oh, it's a fireworks. That's best. We only see fireworks, going up to the sky. We haven't, go close to the fireworks. Oh, that's how fireworks. No one knows. And then I bought those party poppers. I said, hey, it's Christmas, and it's heading towards New Year. And then I said, look, and then I distributed all those fireworks with a lot of kids. I said, go and sell them. I'll pay you after you sell. So I purchased 8, which is $250 worth of birthday candle and those party poppers with big plastics. And then I give it to the students. I said, go and sell them. They went and they sold all those fireworks and party poppers. People were asking me, hey, Liboy. They were asking. They said, hey, they didn't know my name back then, so they were just asking, is this fireworks? I said, hey, this is fireworks. I said. They said, okay, prove to us it is. Okay, light it, I said. They said, no, we want to use it during the New Year. I said, so, just bring it and go to the house and then use it. This is fireworks. People were so happy, and I made about 1,200 or 300 Australian dollar at the end of the day. What happened was, as soon as we bring those birthday candles back to the house, I put mine on the ground. I light that birthday candle with a big sort of roofing iron, and then I cover myself. All the boys were at my back, and then we were just waiting for the birthday candle to just, pop up to the sky and all those flashing light. What happened was we were just waiting for a couple of minutes, and then nothing happened. He said, hey, what happened? Maybe it's something wrong with the birthday candle or the fireworks. So we said, light another one. And then we light another one, and then we just wait. And then nothing happened. It was just, and it finished. I said, what happened? And then we just looked at the kawa, and when we started to read the kawa, it was birthday candle. But it's a sparkling birthday candle. And I was like, oh. For 2 solid weeks, I didn't go back to the street. Because everyone were looking for me. They said, oh, this man tricked me. I didn't went back to the street and do street sales. I said, no, I won't sell. It's just not for me. I said, I have to wait for 1 month or so. And then they just forget my name, my face, and then I'll go back and sell. Because everyone that sold those things, if they ask them, they'll say, oh, it's not ours, it's for this man. And then all the fingers will come back to me. So I have to stay one month just back at the house. I use all those money to travel around the schools in nation's capital in Port Moresby to look for schools. I couldn't find any space. I was so fortunate by God's grace that there's a school that they were just opening new grade 11s and they were looking for secondary students. So I made my way into the school. On the streets, we have some sort of natural law. You see those people fighting over there? You are not allowed to start sales anywhere. And Dennis and them, they went to Niguni, so they would have known people selling on the traffic light with all those eggs and all this one. The people who sell on the other side of the traffic light are not supposed to move to the other side. Also on the other areas. And then the police in a particular suburb, they know all those street people over there. So they won't go and chase them. They only, if they want to chase someone else and get all the money and everything, they'll go to another suburb. So we kind of have the contact number for all the police in a particular suburb, which is our friends. So if we feel kind of frustrated with another group of boys on the other suburb, we just call our police and say, hey, go and bail this man and come back to us. We'll pay you money. And the police will go and bang, finish all of them. And then come back and we give them like a $50 or $70 to the police. So we have our relationship is just intact with the police. We know them, they know us. We just work properly with them. So we know each other. So everyone, they have their own territory. It's just, no one knows. The people who sell on the streets, they already know. Because I've been selling while I was in high school to pay for my own school fee until I just go up to university. And sometimes we sort of, I don't know if you guys read some Bible stories about people who beg on the street, but those people who begged on the street, we have that sort of, I don't usually beg on the street, but my friends and I usually go and then I allow them to, they are the ones who begged on the streets. We know how to beg. And you know when I read those stories in the Bible, like beautiful who sit in the temple, and then Peter and John wanted to walk in and he was just talking to them and said, oh, please, give me money. And they said, silver and gold we have none, and all this one. Most of the people who begged on the streets, they have their house, parents, everyone. They just try to find an easy way to escape. They don't want to face problems in life. So the easy way is just to sit down and beg. So some of our friends, we usually go and we just tell them, hey, go and beg on the street. And then they don't, we say, don't wash, just put a sad face, and then let your sort of, just look dirty and look ugly and sad and cry and all this one. So we just allow those boys and they beg. And then after they collected the money and all these ones, we said, let's go and enjoy. And then we just go and enjoy all the money and finish it. Some people are genuine, but most are not genuine. And we know how to beg. You don't go and straight away sit on the street and say, hey, give me $20. No one is going to give you. You have to start by, I'm starving, give me a 5 cent or 2 cents. Do you have any 5 cents? We just ask for small, and we know all the technique to beg. In fact, if I beg you guys on, I don't know, Avondale, all the Avondale people will give me money. I know how to beg. And the technique to beg also. However, while we were at the college, this is what we go through. They chase us out of the college because we don't have, I was in Sonoma Adventist College doing my diploma in pastoral ministry. The college chased us out of the school because we don't have money to pay for our tuition fee and even our boarding fee. So they said, you guys won't live in the college anymore. Go and look for your own ways. So me and 6 other theology students which are there, we went and then we chopped all the logs out to make our own house. And then we cut all the grasses to make the floor and even the walls. We cut the bark of the tree to build the walls. And this is the bark, the tree bark, that we build the walls. And then this is inside the house. What we usually do inside the house is you don't sleep and then put your legs straight like this. Because the other person who is sleeping over there, your legs will bump each other. So we either open our legs like this and sleep so that their legs will be crossed by, or you either bend and just put it within each other. So you see those legs over here? The other person, his leg was just right over there. And then this one was just folding his leg. Because it's just too small, the house that we built. And all of them are theology students, 3 over there and then 3 over here. 6 of us. Because we don't have money to pay for our own school fee and all this one. Not even money to pay for our own food. So what we do for our food is, that's the group over here. This man gave us a portion of land to build our houses. All the students. It's just like 4 kilometers away from school. We have no water and anything, so we have to make our own garden. While studying, we make our own garden. And that garden is to, pay something like some food or anything that we need, other necessary like soap and stuff to wash our clothes. We don't even have water where we lived. So we usually just collect water from the drain, sort of in the bush, and all this one for food and even drinking water. And then these are the garden that we built. And it helps us to pay for our food, our clothing, and other stuff. Just 6 theology students only. And this is the house, the door. All here around, while we were studying at the college, that's the only food that we eat. The cassava or tapioca and the coconut. So what we usually do, in order for us to get that cassava, what we must do is that we have those boxes, sort of, in any box. And the school doesn't allow us to collect any food because we were not supposed to collect any food. We were the outcast. We didn't pay for the school fee, nor did we pay for anything at the school. We just study, and then we said, we study on promise. We said, God will help us pay for our school fee. Just allow us, please. We begged until they allow us to study. So while the students study, and then they went to their lunch, we usually go for they call it the work line period, and then we just collect all the leftover cassava or the tapioca. The ones that the college doesn't need, they just throw them away, the small ones. We sort of put them into the box, cover them, and then the coconuts. We have our own timetable to collect the food also. Who is going to cook on that particular day? So we put our own timetable. For myself, I said, look, don't put me in any other timetable like collecting the cassava or the greens or everything. I'll just collect the coconut only. So while people study, I always collect the coconut. And then I go to, after collecting the coconuts and the cassava, we just walked across the lecturers, their house. And we always sing like, Amazing Grace, how sweet. We sing all the good songs, worship songs, carrying all those boxes. And the lecturers will be like, oh, these people are just finishing from college and come. But actually, we collected all those, food that the staff, the school doesn't need it. But if they know that we collect those food, they'll charge us. So we sort of, hide them inside the box, and all the good hymnal songs, we just finish it and then walk across the lecturers, their houses. Because that's the only way to go home. So we just try our best as much as possible to live.
Mando walk straight, blue blessed. Mando walk straight. Muslim name must get plenty.
You must get plenty. How you walk, you can get plenty. Walk plenty, get plenty. School study strong, then you will go walk money.
You see over there, it's the cassava and the coconut. That's our daily meal. We eat during the breakfast. Lunch is the same food. Dinner is the same food. Once our garden is ripe, then we sell and purchase some rice or maybe other stuff. But otherwise, that's all you have to eat all year round. And just to finish off, I was at Pacific Adventist University, 2017. And because I didn't have enough money to pay for the boarding fee and all these ones, even the school fee, I wasn't a part of the boarding student. So what I did is, whole year in 2017, I was sleeping over here. And it's just an open area. Both of them would know this area. It's just beside the staff room, the library. It's called a student center. People just sit down and do their assignment. But for me, I have this cushion, which belongs to the school. But every Sabbath, I always take out that cushion, bring it to some of my friends, their dormitory, and then hide the cushion. And then go and worship and involve in church activity. And once the Sabbath afternoon falls and it's the Sabbath, we close the Sabbath, that cushion back. All my books and the laptop will be over here for the whole year. I just did that until I graduated. So the lecturers didn't know that I usually sleep over here and study whole year. Only few of the students, they only knew. Because that's the only way where I could, at least have shower and then enjoy myself at the college. And these are the food that I eat every day. A snack biscuit and just water. Mostly, I would say. That's most of the meals that I eat. just to close, after I graduated from the Pacific Adventist University, and there is the local church. That's my family over there. I went back to the garbage dump and then take that photo with some of my friends. And that's the church that Dennis and part of the team, they visited us over there. And that's the church that I look after in New Guinea. I look after 2 churches. I would say around 500 church members, including the children and all these ones from the 2 churches. And that's me right in front of the pulpit. And these are the youths and the church members. That's the only transportation that I use in the village, that bicycle. And that's my house over here, pastor's house, and that's my kitchen. Sad reality. Sometimes, it's a sad reality that we have some good food over there, but we sort of, I don't like this food. Some people are just eating just rice, plain rice, and then they are so thankful for what they eat. We don't appreciate a lot of things in life. Just because, just because you are right doesn't mean that I am wrong. You just have to see life from my side. The other person was saying, oh, it's 6. The other one was like, no, it's 9. They said, no, it's 6. Be happy with the little that you have. There are people with nothing that still manage to smile. And I'm just sharing my story not to, say that, oh, I'm like this. No. Sometimes, we have a lot of good things in life, but we don't appreciate what God has given us. And I'm not saying that like, oh, my life is, no. I really appreciate where I come from. It helps me to be who I am. At least through those challenges and trials, at least I have something to share with someone else. And just to finish, Genesis 50 verse 20 said, but as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. There are some things in life that is, we might thought that it's just God is trying to destroy us, but that very thing, one day God is going to use it to help you to minister to someone else. And your mess can be your message. So this afternoon, my mess is my message. And whatever your mess is, God can turn it into your message. Like Dennis always said, a setback is a setup for a comeback. So when God pulls us back, it's just like rubber band, The more you pull back, it means that the further you will go. So praise God in bad and good times, because all things work to the good of those who love and serve God, and may God add His blessing upon our testimony this afternoon. Thank you.
Stay with me, please, Lee boy. From poverty to praise to preacher. What a story. I'm just wondering if anybody would like to ask, could you take a couple of questions from anybody who wants to ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. So anybody would like to ask Lee boy questions, we'll take a few questions.
Mike, this.
Yeah, thank you very much. What do you do now? Do you minister to the people on the dump regularly? Is that something you do?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for the question. I don't, to be frank, I usually, when I was in New Guinea, I usually go and, minister to them and all these ones, but I don't have as much as, time to, I would say not more time with them, but I do have that opportunity, but only a couple of times. But not as much, because I kind of worked outside of the area that I'm with, and then it doesn't give me enough time to, yeah.
Fair enough.
But yes, we have a church established over there, just recently.
Anybody else? They're all shy, Lee boy. They're all shy.
Oh yeah, one at the back over there.
Yep. Oh.
I was just wondering, when you're looking at the photos of your houses and that on the dump, I've always understood that it rains a lot in New Guinea. So how do you stay dry? How do you stay dry at night when you live on the dump like that?
Yeah, like we said, like currently while we are talking, when it's Sunday, tomorrow, my mother will go back to the garbage dump, which is just tomorrow. And Monday, because just my mother just joined me when I'm with that. My family, they were not Adventist. I'm the only one. And then my mother and my father joined, and then my father passed away, and my mother is an Adventist now. But when it's Sunday or Monday, my mother will still go back to the garbage dump. She's right now like just next to the garbage dump where we lived. And when it rains, kind of our houses have those big holes. So with me, because sort of my family sort of respect me a lot, I would say, because I do involve in a lot of activity, but not causing a lot of problem. All this. I always get all the plates and all the pots in the house. And to be frank, like I finish all the pots. Put in all the pots here and there when it rains, and it falls down into the pot when there's a hole over there. And then we kind of put the bed aside, and you won't even sleep properly when it's rain. It's just tough. But we sort of try to manage to put some stones or something to lift up the kappa and to balance the water to fall down, but most of the time it's just rain down into the house. So if we know that, like I felt that if it's going to rain, I already set up all the pots in different areas in the house where the rain will just fall down into the pots. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, that house that you guys saw over there, it just fall down in 2019, my house. So we were just trying to build another one.
Could you just share with us how old you were when the Adventists contacted you?
While I was doing my grade 4, which is age 11. Grade 4, yeah, age 10.
Thank you. Sure.
So if I was to ask you now, what can Wingham Church do for your family and your friends back on that dump now? What is the best thing that we can do for them apart from pray? I know that prayer always counts, but what is the best thing that we can do for them? What is the best way that we can help them?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I would say, ask the Holy Spirit to lead you guys, and He'll give you what to do. Yeah.
I've had the privilege of going to Papua New Guinea probably, 10 or 12 times now. And I've been to Lee Boy's village on numerous occasions. And my dream for his village is a school at some stage, and that's what we're hoping for. At some stage we can build some sort of bush school and give the kids opportunity. There's kids everywhere in Lee Boy's village, and I'd love to see them educated at some point. That would be a dream that I've spoken with Dennis and the other guys and as well with Lee Boy, but that would be a great dream one day to have a nice little school running there. Dan, is that Lee Boy? Yeah.
Lee Boy, we want to break the curse of children going through what Lee Boy and all his mates have in the past. Break that curse and get a school there so we can educate those kids so they'll never have to go through that again. Yeah. And Jim, you're charged with building that when we get some funds to do that, by the way, just in case you don't know. But yeah, look, I've been ministering to Lee Boy on the dump for 15 years when he was a youngster. And so I never knew him, but he certainly knew me. He had this white guy on with all these black faces going onto the rubbish tip all those years. And he was a bit afraid to come up and ask this white face.
Yeah, it's because like when we talk with those white people, our leaders they'll belt us, we have those rope and they'll just stick us. So they said, hey, you talk with them, and after you talk with them, and we'll kill you. So we're sort of afraid, we might. No, we are not even ready to touch those white people. So just let them give us food, and then we go away.
Yeah.
If I may answer your question, David, how can you help these people? Well, Colleen, and I'm not patting myself on the back, no. Colleen and I have joined up with Operation Food for Life. And they don't ask for money. God will talk to you how to do it. I know we ordinary folk, we're not wealthy. But if you start giving, you'll see how God multiplies it. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. I've got a DVD of Lee Boy's story, a little bit about Operation Food for Life. If you've got a DVD player, please take them. If you want more to show your friends, please share them with your friends as well. Lee Boy, we want to make a difference out there in that community. As you know, we've been wanting that for a long time. Your community wants this as well. And I've actually preached at Lee Boy's church on the rubbish dump as well. So, yeah. Is there any more questions before Lee Boy goes? Yeah. Right. Please come down and pick up your DVDs if you like after we finish. Graham, would you just like to thank Lee Boy on behalf of the church, please, and close? Thank you.
I'd just like to say, I feel very humble today to be in your company. You've had a hard life, my friend. But when God got hold of you, you hung on with all your strength and all your power. And I want to thank God for that. And in doing what He did for you, you letting your light shine and you helping others. And if I can encourage this church today to support the Food for Life program, do it. You won't feel sorry. Can we close our eyes and have a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we want to thank you this afternoon for hearing from the mission field how you are saving the lives of boys and girls and men and women that get born, Lord, there. They can't help it. And I pray, Lord, that you'll continue to bless Operation Food for Life, continue to bless Lee Boy in his work, continue to bless this church, and I thank you for the lovely, incredible, inspiring day we've had. We thank you for Dennis and his team. We pray that you'll go back with them as they go home, grant them a safe trip, Lord, and above all, help us to look up to you, for we know your coming is close. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Graham. For those who may be watching on live stream, the charity is Operation Food for Life. You can find us on the website, Operation Food for Life, www.offl.org.au. Please have a look at us, because Barini Rubbish Dump is only just one of our projects that we being the hands and feet of Jesus, serving these people, just like Lee Boy. And now we've got schools for poor children. We've got a child rescue program and so much more. We are being the hands and feet of Jesus. And again, thank you again, Lee Boy, for your inspiring testimony. We are very moved, and we want to thank you for taking the time to come up and share today. So yes, anybody, so with that, we'll just say thank you for having us this afternoon, and please come up and get your DVDs. Thank you.